Welcome to the Gavel. I'm Linda Akibe. Before the National Assembly went on recess, the Senate passed the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Agency Bill. The bill is proposing to make Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, which is currently under Anti-Graft Agency, the EFCC, an independent and autonomous body. The bill, if given presidential assent, will see to the creation of the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Agency, which will act as the central body in Nigeria for requesting, analyzing and disseminating financial information to law enforcement and security agencies. Nigeria has been suspended from global body, the Egmont Group of Financial Intelligence Agencies, for failing to grant autonomy to the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Agency. Now, we spoke with the Chairman, House Committee on Financial Crime, Representative Kayode Oladile, to get his perspective on the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Agency bill.
Well, I think we need to go back a little bit down the memory lane to why it happened. It's not something very new. When the EFCC was established, there was this, the law was passed in 2003 and then amended in 2004. In the amendment, the section 1(2) subsection C of the Act says that the EFCC shall be the designated Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit. That is the cause of the problem. Because NFIU is supposed to be autonomous and independent from the EFCC. But a situation where the law says that the EFCC shall also be the NFIU, that's a fusion there. So that is the main cause of the problem itself. And what the recommendation of the Financial Action Task Force is saying, particularly recommendation 29, is that an NFIU can be created and embedded in a larger organization, but it should have its own financial autonomy as well as operational autonomy. So, but when you look at section 1(2) subsection C, it does not separate the two. There's a fusion there. So, because of that fusion, if you go to section 6L of the FCC Act again, you will see there that it says that the EFCC shall receive suspicious transaction report, which actually is the duty of the NFIU. So there is a lack of separation, and this is the problem. So for some time, maybe in the past few years, the Egmont Group had been telling Nigeria to have a legal framework, delete that section 1(2)C, and then create, even within the EFCC itself, a unit to be known as the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, with its own distinct operational as well as financial autonomy, in conformity with the recommendation 29 of the Financial Action Task Force, as I said earlier. So it is because for the past few years that this has been on, Nigerian government, or the Nigerian government rather, has not really made any step towards amending that particular section, as well as section 6L that talks about EFCC receiving suspicious transaction reports.
You say the Nigerian government should do this. Shouldn't it be National Assembly? Are they not the ones expected to amend the laws?
National Assembly and Nigerian government, are they not the same? So you cannot, I mean, government has three organs. We have the judiciary, we have the executive, and the legislature. So even if the National Assembly passes that bill, it will still be the executive's duty to sign it into law. So I don't want to go into various organs, but just to say the Nigerian government. So when you look at it, it is because of the repeated failure on the part of the government to do that deletion. It's very simple. And then creating that unit and giving it its operational as well as financial autonomy that led to the suspension. And of course, they also talked about release of confidential information. Let me just say this, because that has been interpreted by various people to mean that the FCC was releasing confidential information to people against the recommendation and the practice of the Egmont Group. That is not actually the situation. The situation is when you look at section 6, subsection L, it talks about receiving suspicious financial transaction report from the financial institutions. What the Egmont is saying is that that presupposes that an EFCC, who should be an agency on its own, is now will be receiving and performing the duty of an FIU. So if that happens, then how are they sure of the confidentiality of the report that will be released or received by the EFCC? If you go into the Money Laundering Act itself, the same thing was replicated there, that the EFCC shall receive suspicious transaction report from banks. And that is performing the duty of an NFIU. So when they are talking about confidentiality, that is what they meant. It's not as if information coming from or receiving from other FIUs had been just released into the media. But there's that fusion calls for problem, particularly as it relates to confidentiality of information received. So that is the area. And those are the areas that the FIU, or the Egmont Group rather, is asking us to delete and of course redraft. So it's a question of legal framework rather than practice.
The Senate has passed the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Bill, which seeks to make the NFIU, autonomous. Will this help as regards the suspension of Nigeria from the Egmont Group?
Well, let me just say this. Yes, it will, but it has its own advantages and disadvantages. That is the NFI bill you're talking about. Hitherto, if you remember,